G'day folks, thanks for coming along, and I hope we answer a lot of very difficult questions tonight. I've got Troy Gunasekera from Perth helping me, and at the end we'll be going through some questions. Any more questions you want, that's the time to let us know. Just reminding you that I'll be doing barbecues in Sydney, Adelaide and Newcastle this coming Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Hopefully I can see you there and get a lot more questions. So Troy, we might start off because we've got 20 minutes to do this. How are you going?
Definitely, thanks, Kevin. Welcome along to all. Alrighty, let's do this. So thanks so much for some of the questions that have come through. They've been really relevant, and where they have been specific to the actual person's financial circumstances, we're getting the property mentor and or broker or solicitor where appropriate to assist with that. So we've prepared the majority of the questions tonight that have been the most relevant and that were repeated a few times. So if you've got any further clarification that you require with what we cover this evening, please just type it into the chat box or the questions box. I can see a couple coming along now. So one of the first questions is, and this is a series that I'm running on, is with the Property Club tools. And we've got many tools available with club members, and one of the most common questions we get is, guys, can I please grab a copy of that Excel sheet so I can use it on my computer and work through my options? These are really valuable tools and really powerful as well, and it is best used by a property expert who is your property mentor branch manager. So with that in mind, we will definitely, property mentor or branch manager will sit down with you to go through as many permutations and options as you need with the Property Club toolbox as we've got, and you would have seen the screenshot that I showed last time. There's about 12 tools in there, and you can go through with that one-on-one. The same applies to the Mortgage Muncher. So the Mortgage Muncher is one of our most powerful tools to show how you can actually bite down's the right word, no pun intended there, your own mortgage by use of with an investment property and the structure that we have around that. So again, one-on-one, it's best to go through that with your property mentor. If you haven't been in contact with your property mentor or don't know who they are, please just flick an email to inquiries@propertyclub.com.au and they will get that to you. Okay, will the banks ever get back to asset lending? So this is a really good question that has come through, and Kevin has some good answers regarding this, updates if you like as well. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Troy. Yeah, I had a call come through and it bumped me right off, so sorry about that. And the problem we have, if we let our people use those tools, they would corrupt them and put permanent things in where we had some algorithms, and that would give totally the wrong answer. So we can't do that. Will the banks get back to asset lending? Well, this has been on the Liberal Party's desk for the last 6 years, trying them to get the courage to make a very logical decision. So I think we need something to blast them out, and I've threatened to go to the One Nation Party, who I think would probably take it up in the Senate and get something happening. But if we get something moving, if I can get everyone sending the same request through and get some political action happening, I think we'll get it back again, because it's a logical thing to do to preserve people wanting to be self-funded retirees. This is a good question coming up now. Unit prices in Brisbane, as we know, have been flat. In fact, the peak was hit in 2010, and our current prices are down 10% on that peak. Not in all sections of the markets. They vary, of course, with increasing or decreasing demand. But it's coming back to the old thing, hold the properties for longer term. And the figures that have come out is that if you're selling for with holding it for less than 6 years and selling it, on average you're losing $26,000. If you hold it for 11 years, in contrast, you're making a profit of $140,000. Now, why have we had this downturn since 2010? Unfortunately, we've had Labor governments in for 20 of the last 25 years, and it's just simply a lack of jobs. And that's the same thing that's affecting Perth and Darwin. So there'll be hopefully a change of government up here in Queensland in October, and we get back to approving these things that create jobs. And I think the only big driver we've had in the last few years has been jobs created by the Brisbane City Council, which ended a big, huge construction phase with bridges and tunnels that was fought against by the Labor Party, by the way. But that created a little bit of a boost to jobs, but we need a lot more. So it will happen, but there's the thing, keep it for 11 years and you're making a profit. Troy, can we sell a property to a spouse?
So can you sell a property to a spouse? Look, it's a really, really, really common question, and it really goes to the heart of what we've talked about for so many years now since the club's inception, and that is setting up the right structure at the start initially. Everyone's circumstances are different, be it with the main breadwinner versus a non-breadwinner and percentage ownership of the property. So there's lots of different dynamics that have to be taken into account with that, because down the track, if you do sell a property to your spouse or part of the property, a percentage of it, typically, especially if it's been a good amount of time, like 5 to 10 years, there might be a capital growth event that's happened there, and therefore capital gains tax that is payable. So yes, it can be sold, but again, it comes back to really sitting down with your property mentor, who is your property finance expert, to be able to A, set you up with the right finance structure initially, and B, be able to assist down the track if that arises, because you know what, at times it does arise. Kevin, if you've got anything further to add to that?
It could be a matter of a divorce and your spouse wants the property, you know, a number of properties, you split them up. In that case, there's no capital gains tax and there's no stamp duty on the transfer, which is good.
Yes.
So I'm not too sure what's behind that question. Now, the retirement strategy, it's a good question, this one coming up. But the answer is very simple. There's lots of buyers who want to get into property and don't have a deposit. So you're coming along and you're going to offer them the deposit. So they're going to be lined up, and you're going to find a lot of young people, particularly that are in high income jobs. It could be IT, there could be doctors, that could be dentists, whatever it may be, and they can't get on the property ladder. You come along and say, look, I'm going to loan you the deposit to get into the property. And they buy the property and you get the balance of the cash. And then at the time that suits you, you can get them to convert that deposit you lent them across and increase their borrowings and give you the cash. So really you are deferring your capital gains tax with the system. And of course, you live in that as long as you want, and then you go back to your second property and do that same thing again. So no, it's not relying on you selling to relatives. The next one's quite a good.
So look, this is a really common question, and you know, again, it comes back to our experience in these areas for over many years now about holding properties in areas where demand and rental income has dropped. This does happen. It is cyclical by nature, and Kevin and myself have assisted where I can. We do a lot of research, we do a lot of investigations. We look at a lot of data like ABS, the Australian Bureau of Statistics. We look at RP data, who track every house price in the country. And we look at where those cyclical nature of that. Now, Kevin's got over 50 years worth of experience in property. I'm a little bit less than that. I'm only at 20. But Kevin's got some great charts that he can and does go through with you, again, in conjunction with your property mentor, to be able to assist. Again, there's probably a bit more specific detail required around that question. But yeah, Kevin, if you've got anything further to add to that.
I think it's probably referring to Darwin, because we don't go to properties where the regional, where the mining town closes down and the tenants disappear. But Darwin has been hit quite severely over the last 2 years, where the incoming Labor government just decided to put a stop on everything and jobs disappeared. They too, hopefully, will be moved on in October and be replaced. But look at Darwin just as a temporary thing where the demand and prices and rents have dropped for sure. But Darwin is a great source of wealth that's going to be growing and growing for the next 300 years. And it's looked after very, very well over the usual 20-year period. Every market has about 4 or 5 ups and downs. Darwin has only had one previous one. So it's been a good, solid server for us, and it will be. So definitely don't sell if you've got Darwin property. Hang in there, because the return will be quite swift. Now, how do you hold on? again, see your branch manager, see us, and you will make a big decision, and it's the wrong one if you decide to sell. Could hurt you for the rest of your life. So see us and we'll set you up properly. Over to you, Troy.
Thanks, Kevin. Okay, PMC members retired, fully relying on investment portfolio rental incomes, brokers can't refinance. I'm actually aware of who this member is. They're one of our members here in Perth. And what we've got is we've got our brokers again working away on this. Kevin has discussed this many times about the successes we've had once you keep on going back to the banks with the same language and notes that we've put in place. So we've got some very good templates and details in conjunction with the brokers that can work through to get that. So if anyone else is affected by similar details, as you can see on the screen there about principal and interest, and you're concerned about that, you just need to send an email to interestonly@propertyclub.com.au and our team will get back to you on that. Thanks, Kevin.
Mate, if anyone's been hurt by principal interest, it's terrible. The banking monopoly using their strength to push people into these loans, which are much higher to repay, and they're not tax deductible. They're terrible, shouldn't happen, don't do it. So as Troy said, contact us, interest only at Property Club, and we can help you. The next one's a good question as well. They've been good tonight. Troy, is that these people can't have diversified because if they had, then all of their properties wouldn't have not increased in value because we've picked all the boom markets around the country. And a great example of this is Sydney from 2004 to 2012 was a flat market. No one wanted Sydney. If you mentioned Sydney to anyone, they wouldn't want to buy it. But at the same time, between 2004 and 2010, Southeast Queensland had its boom, and we had annual increases up to 20%. So you can't just buy in the one location. You've got to diversify, and it smooths out your cash flow and you increase values there. Another thing too is that you're putting 10% of your income into super, which is a waste of money in my opinion. So why don't you look at taking some more money out of your pay and put it towards your future and reduce your bad debt, what's credit cards, which is your home loan, reduce that, which in turn will then increase your borrowing capacity to keep on adding to your properties and diversify. And Troy, I think that's the biggest single problem investors make is they just invest in their own backyard and can't invest into property properly.
Definitely. Look, what I'll add to that, Kevin, as well, from working with members, for many years as we have been now as well, is that because interest rates are honestly at 50-year lows, so for our generation now, they're at the lowest they've ever been, with interest rates low and rental returns as well starting to increase in these areas, my experience has been with members when I've gone through this exact scenario that's on the screen here, is that the holding costs are actually pretty neutral to even positive. And that's even before tax credits if people are retired and don't have much income in. So that's another important point to look at, not just looking at what the property has or hasn't done on a capital growth perspective, but your cost of owning it, because at the moment it's not much.
And that's the great thing about the club is that we're the only ones giving education, whereas the normal investor has got to try and work this out themselves in a sea of conflicting media reports. What do you do? So come along to one of our workshops, come along to our barbecues. We've got them in Newcastle, Sydney and Adelaide this weekend. Come along to see us. And this is the question we've got here. Good one coming through. Can they bring their questions along to the barbecue? Well, most certainly they can. And then a good one that I've been getting to all my life is how can property prices possibly go up any higher when we've got low wage rises? Well, we've got a really good system here at the moment. We've got low inflation. So wages are now ahead of inflation. And that means that your pay increase means you're buying more with it each month, each quarter, you're buying more. Previously, it was the other way around. Inflation got away, and after a quarter, then you got a measly pay increase to try and catch up. But then the government wanted to take 30% tax out of it. Super wanted to take 10% out of it. So left with a small amount of money to chase goods that have gone up a lot because of the higher inflation. So we're in a really good position now to actually get you being able to pay more for properties because the dollar is worth more. And people will always pay more to get closer to the city centres. It always will. The population is always rising. And that answers a full question there, because once, Sydney, King's Cross was a long way out of Sydney. But now it's close into the city centre and you pay a lot of money to get in there. That's true of all their cities. They're expanding, population's rising, 90,000 into Brisbane, 124,000 into Sydney, 134,000 into Melbourne. They don't bring a house with them or a tent, and they need accommodation, and that pushes rents and prices up. So that's why I love property. And in the same time, I think our share market has just got back to where it was in 2007, but there's been a number of share companies, Troy, that have disappeared, but all our bricks and mortar are still there. So I think we've gone very close to our 20 minutes. And thank you, everyone, for your time and getting engaged with us. And this is the way we can keep on improving, hearing what you want and delivering what you want. But first, we have to know it. So thanks for your time tonight. I know it's a precious time. We're trying to keep this down to 20 minutes. We know your time is valuable. So again, remember, we've got our barbecue on Newcastle Friday, Saturday afternoon, Sydney, and Sunday afternoon, beautiful Adelaide. Thank you, Troy. Thank you, everyone. And I'll catch you at a workshop very shortly and a barbecue very shortly, and definitely at our conference, our 26th annual conference. And we always try to reach yet higher levels of education to help you avoid the traps and see the opportunities to make money. So come along, and that's our aim. We always make it the best one ever. So we keep on trying. So good night, everyone. Thanks for your time. Thanks, Troy.
Brilliant.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, all. Take care. Cheers.